ilaha illallah fahmi Rasulullah. La ilaha illallah fahmi Rasulullah. La ilaha illallah fahmi Rasulullah. Peace be with you, brothers and sisters. I will give you the blessings that we have learned. Salam alaikum l'amour. Salam alaikum l'amour. Salam alaikum l'amour. Peace be with you, brothers and sisters, this morning. As I said, it's very enlightening to look out and see you. And you give me inspiration. I hope that inspiration passed from me to you to me. And what I have prepared for you today. But before I get into my lesson, I would like to give a prelude to the lesson. And the prelude is in response to the brother who is on television right now, Mr. Morgan Freeman, who is searching for God. He's looking for God. You laugh. And he is showing us all of the different places that he has gone to looking for God, trying to find God. I say, and the Rasul, peace be upon him, has said, if you're looking for God, look in the mirror. Look in the mirror, you'll see God. So the prelude to my subject today is God is man, and man is God. In the name of the Lakhirah, the highest truth, our understanding Rasul, the first Amun Ra, who was again made known again in the image of man, the first prophet and interpreter of dreams and visions, taught mankind, as we are today, that the idea of God was born among our ancestors. Now, if you understand exactly what that means, the idea is a thought. The thought of God was first introduced by our people. The God idea. So we are on the track. We know what God is. We know who God is. So it becomes a matter, can we convince these other people who want something dynamic? They want to find God is floating on the high, and he's sailing up in the sky, and you got to look under the rock, you got to go on the mountain to find out where he is. Look in the mirror. Go to the mirror. Look in the mirror. You'll see God. You'll see the working of God. Because everything that is in God is in you. There is nothing that exists out in the universe that is not in you. God is also an embodiment of the essential nature or character of the qualities which exist in the individual animal person and makes it symbolic of conception. As I said, when you look at God, when you look at the trees, you see God. When you look at the brother's dogs across the street over there, you see God. When you look at man is supposed, I say supposed, which is a certain amount of doubt. He is supposed to be the highest explanation of God, the Creator, because we are higher, elevated. But if you stop and think about it, animals were created first. Animals were made first. So that intelligence from the Creator came by way of these so-called animals. So is man the highest form of expression of God? Maybe, maybe not. As I said, that's a prelude to my subject. The subject today is one that has been discussed, and that is, what is separation of church and state? What is the separation of church and state? We've heard that on numerous occasions. There is a separation of church and state. Hopefully when you finish listening to this lesson, you'll see in reality there is no such thing. This is all by design. It is by design to keep you in that genre, in that mindset. I won't say false information. I won't say misinformation. But if the information does not enlighten one, it has to be one to keep you in the darkness. Religious organizations. Secondly, I would say we are not an organization. We are not an organization. Fahami is not an organization. It simply means we are not organized with anyone. We are totally independent, but yet and still we claim brotherhood to them all. When religion achieves the organization apart from political organizations, then religion is distinguished by its organization from political conditions and processes. Such separation of the religions from the political, it is true, has never been actually achieved. But the organization of religion as religion enables us to distinguish it and almost to define it. I wrestled with this thought last night before I came here. How can I best explain this? What better way can I get what I see to you so you can see what I see? The best explanation of any speaker is, can he get his message across? Can he show you what he is saying by word of mouth or actions or deeds? The separation of religious organizations from economic organizations has not begun and probably will never be accomplished. Religion in its organized form has always been a business. Contrary to whatever they said that religion is a business. You have to pay the rent, you have to pay the lights, you have to pay the deacon, you have to buy a new car. It's a business. And people may assume that it always will be a business. The commercialization of religion is determined to religion is, of course, true. Religious rackets appeared long before broadcasting became useful, but broadcasting has increased the number of rackets and has increased their profits. We asked about that program that we had. We asked about those tapes. What was the outcome of those tapes? People should be knocking our doors down as a result of wanting to know exactly what is this Fahami that people are talking about. We put it on the air. We gave it to them. We gave you a weekly show of what these things are. Did it increase our membership? The lesson will tell you exactly what went on. It increased our membership to a certain extent. But when you have the other entity, if you are giving them truth, they are giving them untruth. They are showing them this untruth. Who are they going to believe? Our people have become so dissatisfied with religion that they don't want to come to church. They don't want to go to the temple. They don't want to even hear anything about religion because they've been told so much misinformation about a man dying on a cross and then getting up and rising and walking on the water and what have you. You know, all this misinformation. These are the things that have been fostered upon our people. These are the untruths that have been told to our people. Is it not ironical that the Rasul, peace be upon him, put in booklet form the title Exposed? The exposed means to uncover a something that has been covered up, something that you don't pay any attention to. But now what we're doing, we're taking the paper off and we're exposing the untruth of what this is saying. As a result, we say religious rackets appeared long before broadcasting became useful. But broadcasting has increased the number of such rackets and has increased their profits. People made money. Some of them made money off these papers. Did they give them to us? Did they give them to the temple? No. They put them in their pocket. So broadcasting did something. The people have on their minds this Fahami thing. The scandalous religious rackets have done more to discredit religion than any one other future of modern life. Economic features of group life are also political nature, since it is always necessary for the government to regulate businesses for the protection of the weak against the strong. Pay attention to that. The government steps in. The government supposedly steps in to keep the rich or the people who have from just completely disregarding the weak. So as a result, they come along and introduce this idea of church and this separation of church and state, which I said does not exist. If we restrict or present purpose the idea of the political to the legal, and we can make clear the relation of religion to political organization and political procedures, in theory, or what one thinks or feels, there is a separation of church and state in the United States. But in many states, church property is by law free from taxation. Is this not true? If it's not true, how did Scientology acquire so much money? How did the Catholic Church acquire so much money? If they were taxing these people the way that they tax every you, me, and everybody else, they would not have the wealth that they had. So what the government has done was give them a carte blanche. In order, what is the purpose of that? To keep you. Oh wow. To keep colored folks close to the church. To keep you in church. If I make it possible for you to have money from monies that you have collected from the people that I will not tax you for, then you can keep your doors open much longer. Then that means I have another revert. I have not a convert, but another revert, another person who is being misled. The remission of taxation throws a heavier burden on the taxpayers who are supporting the church by legal compulsion. We, as followers of an understanding, have now implied that religion as an independent factor in human affairs does not await complete separation of church and state, and this implication may be made explicit. Religion appears as religion, distinguishable from the secular feature of the groups when religion began to organize itself. As I said, we are not organized with anybody. We're not organized with anybody. The Rasul in his wisdom knew that one day, somewhere down the line, this particular question was going to come in. There are certain questions that he answered for us, so we would not be burdened with the misstagnation of misinformation. One of them was the thing that you read this morning, brother. And the thing that you read, it says that God and man is one of the same thing. And some other things that it says in the Muhammad Gospel to make sure that we understand these things, that we do not have to wonder about these things. I wanted to speak from the heart, and I haven't graduated to that yet. I'm still dealing with the paper. I want to speak to the heart. I want to speak to you in a way that implies implies to you what I feel here in my heart. Now, in my heart, we realize there's nothing in there but blood. But it's a nice indication of what we are talking about. It's from the inside. It is the inside crying, screaming, to come out on the outside and be seen on the outside by everybody, that you can see me. You can see Abdullah. We, as followers of an understanding, have now implied that religion as an independent factor in human affairs does not await complete separation of church and state. And this implication may be made explicit. Religion appears as religion, distinguishable from the secular feature of the group when religion begins to organize itself. From this point of view, religion disagrees or disengages itself more and more from the system of common praxis, although this disengagement may never be complete. Lacking a final criteria for religion, we as followers of an understanding must admit that activists, often insofar as they are prescribed or controlled or regulated by religious organizations and religious activity. Wow, that's a mouthful. Simply means these are the things that we are being molded into. These are the things that we are being taught. These are the things that we are being taught, not to uplift us, but to keep us enslaved mentally. We right now have the biggest argument that we have, not so much with our brothers and sisters, but we have an argument with the whole organization, the whole conception. And as a result, all of them need a new interpretation. What you have here is a new interpretation, and as a result, people are not going to understand it. People are going to come along and say, oh no, the brothers and sisters, is it not written in your God? I say, ye are gods. If I say that, is it not written in your laws, and I say, are ye God? Why are you arguing with me if I say you are God? If I come along and explain to you how you are God, that word God to a certain extent is a made-up word. It's not creator. It's God. God and man is one and the same. How simple can that be? It's simple for me. Maybe hard for somebody else. But it's simple for me. How man can be God. Because everything that implies God is a manifestation of what we see. Who can be a greater manifestation in man than that S-U-N up there? Yeah. But we are taught. That was a parable that I wanted to get back to. You know, I was fishing. I was trying to go back to it, right? We are taught not to worship the sun. We are taught that most people, I would say all people, whether they acknowledge it or not, are sun worshipers. They will not come along and tell you outright that I'm a sun worshiper. No, I'll come along and tell you that I'm a worshiper of Buddha, I'm a worshiper of Krishna, I'm a worshiper of this one over here, and I'm a worshiper of that. But who can be a greater person to worship than the S-U-N? We look at that sun every day and we see that sun. We see what that sun does for mankind. It gives mankind life, light, and dignity. Can Jesus do that? Only by way of man. There we go back to man is God and God is man. We need, as of now, to find a criteria for the distinction of a religious organization from the secular organization. No wonder the Rasul, peace be upon him, taught that religion cannot solve the complicated problems of race, creed, and color. That's what he taught. Religion cannot solve these problems because religion is too weak. Religion is only dealing with your own personal feelings, and it has been denuded to the point where you don't know what it is that you're following. You're following some, as I said, some spirit that's floating around up in the air, and you know, anything to get you away from the real truth. Religion, for it is too weak to solve the things. Let us bring to surface this point of view. In spite of the decline of the doctrines of the transfer of training in modern psychology, we know that many results of living do spread from one department of life to another department of life. Christian religion's aims, the man who is trained to be a coward in one respect is certainly no more apt to be courageous in another. There his bravery is lessened. If religion can assist man in the conquest of fear, this will be a valuable contribution to human welfare. But a religion that increases fear is atavistic. This is the basis of Christian concept, their concept of sin, as taught in Christianity, which involves fear, is an atavistic concept. Look that word up. In representing the sinner, takes an emotional attitude of humiliation towards an arbitrary power, an attitude which is disagreeable to a normal person and weakens his independence and his power of adequate action. In Christianity, you're made to feel that if I did a certain thing, that I have sinned. I have sinned. And as a result, you have sinned against God. And you have sinned against the teaching of God. What does this do? But keep one subservient to the idea that I cannot change, or I cannot change the thought of God or in my mind, for fear of I will be classified as being a sinner. Assuming this sin was an actual evil, the sinner is repenting, is turning back to the evil, and the soul returns to its wallowing in the mire, and all the agony the repenter suffers merely makes a bad matter worse. It simply means that we are prone to do that we do religiously, continuously, we call bad habits, rather than develop a good habit. So you more or less wallow back into the mire and everything so sweet that you call yourself getting out of it. You have not gotten out of it. And this religious idea helps to give you that, to make you feel sad about the fact that you're trying to change your thought. And they burden you with the fact that you're going to sin. Sin is sickness. Assuming that the sin was an actual evil, the sinner in repenting is turning back to the evil, and the soul returning to its wallowing in the sow, is returning to its mire, and all the agony the repenter suffers merely makes a bad matter worse. The more sincere the repentance, the greater the probability of a repetition of the offense. Repentance is recognized as a bad process for a child. You have to be careful what you put into your children's head. Children are mirrors of the parents. You have to be very careful of what you let them see. Sometimes on Wednesdays, we have a tendency to show another portion. I don't know what the brother's been taken back home, what he's seen over here. It hadn't been anything derogatory, but sometimes the conversation may get a little bit, and you may say things that you wish that you had said differently. But he will come out and say the same thing that you said. Because you said it, and since you said it, he thought it was the right thing to do. Why? Because he is a mirror of you, he is a reflection of you. Sensible parents no longer hold up to a child its errors and malfeasance, and requires him to consider how bad he has been. For we as parents know that this procedure does not help him. Parents need to remember that what goes for the child goes also for the adult. It is illuminating to parents' whole problem to note that the modern parent solicitously avoids the attitude of the arbitrary God who is offended by the child's behavior and wreaks vengeance upon him, either physically or by calling the child's attention to the way you have hurt mama or how bad your conduct makes me feel. God, you really have hurt mama's feelings. When you act bad, it's a reflection on mama and daddy. But mama and daddy didn't teach you how to act like that. And I'm using Kedar because I remember his name. But it represents all the children. All of the children. Even attention to the misdemeanor and conversations about it is reduced to the minimum because it is bad for both the parents and the child. I won't be long, folks. What parents need to see is that God himself cannot take this attitude. If God is really a superior being, he must be superior to that savage attitude or the ways of a people in the lower stages of development or civilization. We as a people of culture or civilization will stop and look into the giving of time and thought to improving or developing the mind, the soul, into a higher degree in fineness of feelings, thoughts, taste, and manners. As I have said, what goes for the child also goes for the parent. Remind him of nothing he did, but teach him into understanding the ways you live before them, and teach him the wisdom of Islam. Our prophet of Amun-Ra published that religion is a state of mind. The state of mind then is its condition, which is the thing on which something else depends, which is to be a subject to a condition of the mind by shifting a response to a different stimulus. Boy, I said a whole mouthful. But I'm trying to pull your teeth. I'm trying to pull your wisdom teeth. When they say we're going to pull your wisdom teeth, it simply means that I'm trying to put something in your mind that exists in us. I don't know everything. I don't claim to know everything. Am I all right? No. But I'm not all wrong either. Am I wrong? No. I'm just confused. Our prophet of Amun-Ra published that religion is a state of mind. Is this not a fact? The state of mind, then, is its condition, which is the thing on which something else depends, which is to be a subject to a condition of the mind by shifting a response to a different stimulus. which is something that excites the mind to activity. And it goes as thus in Christianity. The assimilation of symbols, such as a human figure, nailed to a cross, also a female carrying a little child, is the continuation of religion. Don't you see this? Yes. Don't you see this? This is, as I said, it's all by design. It's all to keep you close to the cross. The book also tells us the world worships heroes. Why do you worship a man of sorrow who could not get down off the cross? If he was the Son of God, what is he doing on that cross? How come he could not get down? We are here to expose all of that. We are here to tell you the truth. Everybody has the truth. But up until now, who has taught us our truth? The Rasul has. Peace be upon you. Rituals and symbols are carried over from older religions to newer, and it has been opened by the Fahimi teaching that conversion of a people as contrasted or different with the conversion of individuals does not occur without this assimilation of the old to the new, and could not occur otherwise. When we speak about we are all religions, this is the explanation that we are trying to say. You cannot have a religion. The God idea was first given to us. We were the first to acknowledge the God idea. And as a result of the God idea, we have everybody today who are professing to follow God. That is, they are professing to follow the teachings that we first gave to them. You cannot come along with a religion. These people are not wise enough to come along with a religion that you will not go back and find Allah and Buddha and Krishna and Jesus. You just can't do it. Because all of them are stair steps on top of everything else. The Rasul taught us, being the fathers of all mankind, that we don't necessarily follow that particular stair step. He's given us a new lamp of knowledge. He's told us that you are the fathers of all mankind. Therefore, you do not have to come along and accept, well, I'm this or I'm that over there. You can be who you are. Even pagan demons are retained for St. Nicholas, vocalized as Santa Claus, is a transformation of the old Greek agathos, Damian, meaning a good spirit. We must now use a assimilation in Fahimi to set mind to the activity. I hope I did not bore you. I say, Islam yastarak binni. My language teacher. Islam yastarak binni. Thank you.